Hello and welcome to another episode of Codo Cinema, the podcast show where I talk about movies. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codoman. Oh, folks, it seems as though this season I'm kind of on a roll with animated movies nowadays. I don't know why, but hey, it just keeps coming and going, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, animation, animation is cinema, guys. Guillermo del Toro said it best when he won his Academy Award for the Pinocchio movie he did back in 2023. But you know what? Hey, it's good to talk about animated movies. Plus, this one, we got another animated movie to talk about. Now, this one will be from 1986. And of course, this movie I'm going to talk about will be An American Tail. An American Tail is a 1986 American animated musical adventure film directed by Don Bluth and written by Friedberg and Tony Geiss. It stars the voices of Kathian Bloor, Dom DeLuise, John Finnegan, Philip Glasser, Amy Green, Madeline Kahn, Pat Busick, Nahimiah Persoff, Christopher Plummer, Neil Ross, Will Ryan, Hal Smith, and Erica Yon. Set in the late 19th century, the story follows the Mouskowitz, a family of Russian Jewish mice immigrating from the Russian Empire to the United States for freedom. Fievel, the youngest of the Mouskowitz family gets lost and must find a way to reunite with them. Now, obviously enough, that sounds like a good plot for an American Tale. I mean, obviously enough, that sounds like a good plot to me. What'd you think, Mike?
That sounds very good.
Yep, Mike is back on board with me, so I'm not doing this alone. And what's also interesting too is that we both saw this movie, funny enough, back in elementary school.
Yeah, I saw this movie 3 times. Third, fourth, and fifth grade.
That's actually interesting too. I think I saw this movie once in elementary school. I could be wrong, but I remember seeing it once.
Especially when it was aired on TV, most notably the Stars channel.
Right, that's true. Now, just to give a little more background on this movie, Don Bluth is the director of this movie. Plus, he produced this movie with Gary Goldman and John Pomeroy. And of course, it was edited by Dan Molina, and of course, obviously it is a musical, so there's obviously songs in it. But the music composition was composed by the legendary James Horner.
Yep, and speaking of James Horner, the same year he composed the Aliens movie.
That's right, because around that time in 1986, James Horner composed Aliens, which came out in 1986, which that movie was directed by James Cameron. In fact, James Horner was actually nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Score for Aliens, while his song "Somewhere Out There" was nominated for Best Original Song, along with Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. Unfortunately, that song will lose out to "Take My Breath Away" from Top Gun.
My goodness, so many movies are celebrating its 40th anniversary.
That is true. In fact, this movie will be celebrating its 40th anniversary along with Aliens and Top Gun. Talk about a list of movies right there.
Yep.
And also the production company for this movie was the production companies of this movie. So you got Amblin Entertainment and Sullivan Bluth Studios being the production companies. Now, of course, Amblin, and of course, this movie was distributed by Universal Pictures. So Sullivan Bluth Studios, that's Don Bluth's studio that Don Bluth was doing around that time. But of course, Amblin Entertainment, to anybody's knowledge, Amblin Entertainment, that is actually the production company by Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, and Frank Marshall, to which those three those three were executive producers on An American Tail, making it their first collaboration with Don Bluth.
That's very surprising that we didn't even know that Steven Spielberg was involved with the American Tail movie as executive producer.
Yes, it's actually amazing that both Don Bluth and Steven Spielberg worked on this movie. It's not their. And they will also go on to work on The Land Before Time, which came out in 1988. And also, interesting enough, George Lucas was also involved with The Land Before Time.
Yes, is there anything we need to say about Steven Spielberg?
Not really. Not really. Steven Spielberg, obviously enough, around that time, Steven Spielberg was literally becoming a name for himself. He directed. Let's be honest. This was like 4 year. He directed Jaws. He was also involved. He was also involved with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and not let's not forget. Let's not forget E.T. This movie came out 4 years after E.T.
Let's not forget the first two Indiana Jones movies.
That is right.
And including and of course Spielberg was also the executive producer on The Goonies, Back to the Future, including Gremlins, and of course he also directed The Color Purple.
That's right. So Steven Spielberg has already become a name for himself around that time, and I think this is Spielberg's first animated movie that he was working on.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this is probably his. Yeah, actually, this was Spielberg's first animated feature film that he's ever worked on. And to be quite honest, this was a good start for him, because the movie would go on to make 84 million 80 the movie would go on to make $84.5 million on a budget of $9 million. So that's a box office hit right there. Mm-hmm. Although while the movie received mixed reviews, it actually it was actually it was still a good movie. It also got a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes by 86 critics, saying, and I quote, "Exquisitely animated, An American Tail is a sweet, melancholy immigrant's story."
I think that says it all right there.
It definitely says it all. It definitely says it all right there. It definitely says it all. It is also a heartwarming story too.
But it does have its darker moments in this movie too.
Yes, that is actually true. That is actually true, because there are definitely some dark moments in this movie, which is also something that both Spielberg and Bluth were, going back and forth on, because apparently Don Bluth wants to go for a much more darker tone with some of his movies, while Spielberg was, he was thinking of, families, yes, family film, because this is technically this is a family film, but also at the same time pretty tough subject matter, if you know what I'm saying. And because this is basically, this movie takes place in the 19th century, where they're basically immigrating from the Russian Empire.
Yeah,
they're traveling from Russia to America for freedom, and then of course Fievel gets separated from his family.
It was during that storm.
It was because of that storm that happened, to which we will talk about that soon. So, in hindsight, I feel like they're definitely going. Spielberg and Bluth were going back and forth between the tones.
Yes, and this is not Don Bluth's first animated film to direct.
No, it's not. In fact, Don Bluth. Actually, funny enough, a little brief history about Don Bluth. Don Bluth got his start with Disney.
Yeah, with Sleeping Beauty.
Yes, with Sleeping Beauty. He actually got his start with Sleeping Beauty, and then he would go on to do other animated movies like Robin Hood as well.
Yeah,
And then he also did a couple of his own projects, like I forgot it's this Banjo Cat movie that he did.
the Banjo Cat movie.
I think I mean it's a short animated film about a cat playing banjo. And then there was a Christmas donkey one as well.
It's called The Small One.
Yes. Oh, and there we go. Banjo the Woodpile Cat.
Yes, but the small one was Don Bluth's first film to direct. Well, basically in a short film, which is from Disney.
Right. Now, obviously enough, he would go on to do Secret of Nim, which was actually a really good film that he did. And interesting enough, that film was actually a modest hit because that movie Secret of Nim, which came out in 1982, it had competition with the space juggernaut itself, E.T.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's right. It came out the same year. But that movie, The Secret of Nim, was considered to be one of the darkest films
that's
that
true.
was
Yeah.
ever made. And even though it was good, a lot of people complained about the dark tone that was added in.
Because this is like because when people think of animation, you know, Disney, right? Disney, for example, Disney has been doing a lot of their movies. Like around that time, Disney was literally the top dog in animation.
In the 80s, it was starting to die down because after the box office bomb of the Black Cauldron, Disney was going into bankruptcy.
That's right. I mean, it's not their first outing where they had a difficult time. I mean, let's be honest. World War II got in the way with some of their early projects because World War II cut off the overseas market. And then of course, obviously enough, they almost went into bankruptcy at one point until Walt Disney did Cinderella. And also to note too, when Walt Disney died in 1967, some of that magic was started to like fade out a little bit.
Yes, because of his passing.
Right, because of his passing. So some of that magic was going away. It wasn't until the 80s where they're at a point of like, what now, right? And that was after when the Black Cauldron came out, that almost tanked Disney.
But it wasn't until the Great Mouse Detective came in,
That's right. And
only for a little bit.
yeah, and also to note, Don Bluth left the Walt Disney Company in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, I think. In fact, Don Bluth left the Walt Disney Company in the late 70s while working on Fox and the Hound. In fact, like when he left, I think it was because of creative differences. Most notably, for what I heard, was the train sequence where the train ran over Chief.
Chief. Yes,
And
that was
actually, it was meant to that whole scene. That scene was going to like kill. They were going to like the idea of that scene and that part was actually there was actually a book of the same name. Chief dies in the book, and the movie changed Chief's death into like an injury.
Yes,
It
because
was still a dark scene, but Don Bluth, but for what at least from what I heard, Don Bluth wanted to like have Chief get killed off in that movie.
I guess Don Bluth wants to honor the book.
I think that's what they were trying to go with, but Disney, I don't think Disney liked that idea.
No, I don't think Disney doesn't like it because it's sad too.
I mean, it's sad, but even that movie still had its fair share of dark moments.
Exactly.
And Don Bluth, and this was like this, and Don Bluth and his team of animators actually left. They actually left. They actually left that movie to form his own production company, and that's where Secret of Nim came in.
Exactly, and it is sad that Don Bluth and everyone else left.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, it was definitely probably yeah. Further concerns with Fox and the Hound were raised over the handling of the scene in which Chief is hit by a train, which was originally planned to result in him dying. And after debating the handling of the scene, the filmmakers decided to change the death into a non-fatal injury by which he merely suffers a broken leg, which probably explains why Don Bluth left.
Yep.
Don Bluth and several other animators left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably the reason why. That's probably one of the reasons why he. That's probably one of the reasons why he left. But you could definitely tell, like, Don Bluth's got some passion. Don Bluth's got passion in animation.
He does, but for Fox and the Hound, that's obviously what?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's obviously an episode for another day.
Fox and the Hound, that's an episode for another day. But even then, you got Don Bluth going up against the big dog himself, Walt Disney Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, man. Like, when you have new people going up against the Walt Disney Company, it's game on. It's Walt Disney at the time. Like I said, Walt Disney is the biggest was definitely the biggest company of the time for animation before other studios threw their hats into the ring.
Yeah.
And now Don Bluth came out with his own movies. Now, anyway, speaking of which, I'm going to go back to American Tail. I know I kind of cut off a little bit, but still, that's our background. That's how Don Bluth kind of got started. That's Don Bluth. That's a bit of a background on Don Bluth, especially on his work in animation. At least for between like his work with Disney up until American Tail. I know he did other movies too, but during the production of An American Tail, Amblin and Universal expected to view the dailies and approve all major work on the film, and various outside parties also requested changes here and there. And Bluth felt that he was losing freedom of control over the production process. This is also, of course, this is basically, like the, and I guess it definitely goes into like the tone of the movie,
Yeah, but how to make it darker.
This is also I think this movie was tried to be more lighthearted than dark, but in hindsight, I think they found that balance in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is also interesting too, because apparently there were definitely some scenes that had to be dropped to save time and money, and new, shorter scenes had to be created to help pick up the story points lost in the process, sometimes making the storyline look jumbled. Notable cuts includes the Moskowitz's journey across Europe, a scene in which they first met Tiger, and of course, he gets stuck in a tree, an upbeat song that Fievel was planned to sing while in prison in the sweatshop, and a scene that gave greater explanation of the changing of names at Ellis Island. Cuts are also responsible for baby Yasha's apparent disappearance after the boat trip.
Oh my goodness, baby Yasha.
Yeah, the little baby mouse, right?
Yes, I mean we were able to see Yasha only in the opening of the movie.
We saw baby Yasha in the opening of the movie, so it's never explained. I don't think it's ever explained what happened to the baby.
No, it does. It doesn't explain.
It doesn't explain what happened,
And by the time they came into the immigration session, Fievel's dad said this: "We have 5. I mean 4."
Actually, that could explain why. I mean, I guess it's referring to Fievel, because I guess he thought Fievel was dead, but I guess at that point it could be the baby too. I mean, it's never. I don't think it's ever explained at all.
No, I don't think it doesn't explain.
Yeah. It's never explained what happened, but apparently the baby Yasha was cut during the editing process, so it's never explained. It's never explained, but I'm pretty sure the baby's alive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the baby is alive.
So which editing being jumbled together, so it kind of explains,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, with that being said, let's talk about. But anyway, with that being said, It's also interesting that the animation they definitely use cell animation for some scenes.
Yeah, and also a little bit of CGI to
A
it.
little bit of CGI. I mean, I wouldn't say CGI, but maybe a little bit of it.
Yep.
Particularly the giant mouse of Minsk.
Mm-hmm. And also before breaking it down, what do we think about this movie?
Well, what do we think about this movie? We actually enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, we actually love this movie. I mean, despite the darker tone it has, it's still very good.
No, this is a good movie. I say this is a good animated. I say this is a good animated film.
Yep.
One of the greatest animated films.
I mean, this is the film that we're definitely going to be remembered for because we saw this back at Ranchview Elementary School.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's interesting. This movie fooled me for a sec because I thought this was a Disney movie.
Yeah, same here. I thought it was a Disney movie. But unfortunately, when they showed the Universal Pictures logo, I was like, "This is from Universal?"
Yeah, and actually, because the thing is, like I said, Don Bluth worked for Disney, so it's got that bit of a Disney style to the animation,
Yes.
making it feel like it's a Disney movie, but it's not.
I mean, it's all there. Everything is there.
Yeah. So, anyway, with that being said, let's jump into this movie, shall we?
Yep.
So obviously the movie opens up with actually a snowflake while introducing Steven Spielberg's name, saying Steven Spielberg presents.
Mhm.
So we all know that yes, Spielberg is involved with this movie, but of course Don Bluth is involved with this movie too, which in animation says a Don Bluth film.
Yes.
So anyway, we open this movie up in the film in the small Russian village of Shostka as the camera zooms in on the Moskowitz house. Then the camera pans down to a tiny door marked Mouskowitz. Get it? Play on words. Moskowitz. That's a play on words.
And this takes place in 1885.
1885.
What?
1885.
Great Scott!
Whoa! Now we know why. Whoa! Now we know why Doc Brown. Now we know why Doc Brown and Marty McFly traveled to the West in 1885.
Yeah, but oh, this is heavy.
There's that word again. Heavy. Why are things so heavy in this universe? You got a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull or something? So anyway, we're introduced to Papa, voiced by Nehemiah Persoff, Mama, voiced by Erica Yon, Five-O, voiced by Philip Glasser, their daughter Tanya, voiced by Amy Green, and of course, a baby named Yasha. And I do apologize if I butcher any of these names. I mean, some of these names are pretty new, but I do apologize if I butcher any of the names.
Yep.
So, anyway, inside their tiny living quarters, Papa plays his violin while Mama takes care of the baby. Oh my goodness, Papa and Mama, this reminds me of Bearstein Bears, where their names are Papa, Mama, brother, and sister.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Couldn't they give them? Okay, it's one of my. Here's a criticism. Why can't the parents have actual names? Right? Why couldn't they just give the parents actual names? Like, the papa can be John, the mama can be Amy. That's just my. I mean, that's just my opinion. That I said this. I said this already, and I actually brought this up in my Polar Express review a while back in 2000 and back in 2024, where you have the kid, the name of the kids. You got the hero boy, the hero girl, and then you got the know-it-all kid, and then you got the one kid named Billy, right?
Yes.
But the other three kids, their names are hero boy, hero girl, hero girl, and know-it-all kid. Why can't they have the actual names? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, like, it's like saying, it's like you're walking up in person saying, "Hi there, what's your name?" "Oh, I'm Hero Boy." "What's your name?" I'm Know-It-All Kid." I mean, like, that's just a little. I mean, that's just a little weird,
Yeah. I mean,
It's just it sounds weird. It sounds weird to me. Like, that's my opinion.
looks like they kind of added in lazy writing to it in An American Tail.
Yeah, I
Or
guess there's some. I guess in some cases there are definitely some lazy. There's yes, maybe a little bit of lazy writing, but not literally.
yeah,
But I'm just saying. I mean, listen, the writing in this movie, the writing and story in this movie is good. But I will say some of the writing, yeah, I'm gonna have to call this out. Yeah, some of the writing definitely feels a little off, and I think most notably because of the editing process that was going on. But still, though, you could have just give the mama the names, the name of the parents. I'm just saying, just my opinion. I'm just saying. So anyway, Papa. So anyway, Five comes running into the room, asking about Hanukkah presents because the opening of this movie takes place on Hanukkah. And Papa presents Tanya with a new babushka and gives Five a new hat. The hat that his father has been passed down from father to son for generations.
yes, it belongs to the papa, which is the dad, and his father, and his father before him. And
Right,
now it belongs to Fievel Mouskowitz.
right. The hat is far too big, but the boys, but Fievel's mom tells him he will grow into it.
And I'll be honest, Fievel's sister, she looks like Snow White
A little bit.
because of the dress.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, as part of their Hanukkah celebration, the Mouskowitz children encouraged Papa to tell them the story of the giant mouse of Minsk, who was as tall as a tree and scared all the cats. However, their mom doesn't like even a mention of the word cats and asks them to talk about something else. Huh, you know what? Talking about cats, huh? Are you? Well, I guess. I guess they probably. Well, I guess. Well, I guess she saw a precursor from 2019.
Well, also adding in CGI Mysis in the 2019 Cats movie.
Yeah, but anyway, the children. So anyway, the children want to hear about America, which Mama thinks is just another fairy tale. But Papa appears to drift off into a dream world, as he talks about the opportunity of a new and better life in America, where mouse holes are everywhere. Breadcrumbs are on every floor. Mice can say anything they want, and he knows for a fact there are no cats. Right.
Right.
Maybe that last part though. Right.
Be careful what you say. Be careful what you said there, Papa.
Just then, they are under attack. Humans and mice run from their homes as the Cossacks attack the humans and their homes, while the cat sacks. Cat sacks.
Oh,
Well, cat's out of the bag, folks.
yeah. And
Cossacks, cat sacks. That's the Russian, the Cossacks, the Russian. I guess the Rush, the
it takes place in Russia.
right.
And of course, all the people hear what's going on, and they said, "The Cossacks! The Cossacks are here!"
Yep, the Cossacks are here, including the cat sacks.
And Yasha was crying too.
Yes, so they're under attack. The mice in their dwelling, all the mice and the humans are under attack. Brave little Fievel tries to scare the cats away by banging loudly on a skillet with a spoon, but he is chased and almost killed by the cats.
Go away, cats! Go away!
Yeah, but he almost gets eaten alive by the cats.
Yeah, and then
One of them was in the snow. One of them was in the snow, blowing his train horn. but but anyway, so anyway, the attack is over, and the Cossacks and the cat sacks withdraw. The village is decimated.
it was on fire.
Yes, and of course, after that it's all done, Fievel's mom was like, "Don't you do that again! Don't you do that again!"
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Fiverr was still smiling.
Because Fievel meant to do this.
Yeah.
So I get it that he was trying to be brave, but at the same time, though, that was reckless of him.
I mean, he's just a kid.
Yes, he's a kid. I understand that, but that was still reckless.
Yeah.
Still though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the scene shifts to a Hamburg, Germany shipyard where a band plays an Oompa tune, Oompa
Oompa
Loompa
doopa
Doopa
dee
Dee Doo.
doo. And actually, before that, Papa said that this line again after seeing their house being demolished by the fire,
Yeah.
and he says, "In America, there are no cats."
Right.
Well, more on the cats later.
Yep. So anyway, the Mascowitz family and all the other mice climb a rope to board a ship bound for America. And Fievel creates problems on several occasions with his wide-eyed wonder and constant questions. And of course, they're all shouting, "Keep moving!"
Keep walking.
Yep, keep walking.
While the music stopped.
I like that little detail. Like whenever the music stops, it gets it gets more frustrating, because Fievel stops on multiple occasions to check out everything, and everybody was like, "Keep walking, keep walking."
Keep walking. Hey, we're walking here.
But they were able to board the they were able to board a ship, and it is also interesting too is that once they got on board, Fivel's dad was like, "This is the last time I take you to America."
Oh.
Ooh. That was a stiff burn.
Mm-hmm.
That's go. Oh man, that's the last time I'll take you. That's the last time he'll take him to America. Wow, that's gonna. Oh man, that's not only a stiff burn, but that's gonna hit him hard once they get to America.
Yeah.
Because to those who have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
And the Fievel says, "Bye-bye."
Yep, everyone says goodbye as they leave for America.
Including the seagulls.
Right.
They were saying goodbye too.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Fievel's dad plays his violin in the mouse's small section of the ship away from the humans. Just like all children, Fievel asks, "Are we there yet?" Tanya is afraid they made a poor decision to travel to America, but the father reassures her that everything will be all right as long as they stay together. And of course, this also leads. Oh wait, hang on. Anyway, Fievel discovers a barrel of herring, which is basically fish, right?
Yes.
And Papa tells him about even larger fish in the ocean. The mischievous boy wants to see them. When he tells his mother about the fish, she says they're lucky they didn't see cats.
Cats?
Cats? The dreaded word causes all the mice to shudder, but the father reassures that all his fellow mice passengers that America will be wonderful because there are no cats. His statements leads the mice to tell horror stories of cats as they sing, which is obviously their first musical number. There are no cats in America. And they're basically like there's basically about a few separate occasions where three different mice. One of them is like an Italian one. The other one's I guess an Irish one, and I forgot what the other one was. Telling backstories about like there was an Irish one. There was an Irish one, Italian, Irish, and then I forgot what the other one was.
I don't know. I think there was only two.
Oh, there was probably two. Okay,
There was only two.
I thought there were three, but one of them was Italian and Irish. Funny enough, I'm also part Italian. I'm also part Italian and Irish.
Mm-hmm.
And also, funny enough, I'm also part Irish.
Yeah.
So you got one cat, Don Bilioni, Don Bilioni. I guess almost like the Godfather cats,
Oh,
and then I don't know what the Irish mouse was,
I don't
But the
know.
Italian mouse sings about the cat problems in his country, after which the mice all joyfully sing the chorus. We're singing, there are no cats in America and the streets are made of cheese, which is also a reference to streets are made of gold, that sort of thing.
Streets are made of gold,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So anyway, next an Irishman sings a verse, after which the mice celebrates and sings the chorus again. Soon a storm hits and the ship rocks, which causes a lot of seasickness.
Actually, one of the three mice got seasick.
Yes.
While the other mice was eating a pickle.
Yep.
And-
That'll get them sick.
Yep. And the mouse says, "Hey, fellas, you want a bite?"
Yeah, no.
No, no thanks.
While Five-O is warming himself by the stove, kind of like what Jimmy Cricket does.
He also got burnt as well.
Right.
The same with the human as well.
Yeah, because one of the humans stepped on the charcoal.
Yep. That's gotta hurt.
Yep. So when he jumps, he is washed. He is washed around the ship until he ends up at the bottom of the stairs leading to the deck. He's fascinated when a wave washes some fish down the stairs, so he climbs up to see more. Out on deck, he is overcome by the storm and the waves. Five-O imagines all sorts of sea monsters in the waves of the storm. After one, and this is where Five-O gets washed away.
And this is also a part. This is also a separation from his family.
Yeah, it was also interesting too. He tossed his hat right by the door that goes out on the deck, and he just did that. He did that so he can I guess in a couple ways he wanted to try. He's trying to get his dad's attention, saying, "Hey, I gotta go get my hat." He threw that on purpose.
Yes, but Five-O wants to see fish.
Right, but he doesn't realize what he's not understanding what he's getting into.
No.
So he's getting washed away, and he's like calling his dad for help, and he was like, "Hold on, Five-O, grab my hand,
Grab my hand."
But the waves are too strong. And then of course we get the scene. We get the wave monster that pops out in the ocean. And honestly enough, this is from Five-O's imagination.
Yes.
I thought this was for real, but come to think of it, this is from Five-O's imagination.
I don't know how the animators did that by creating a wave monster.
Yes, and that's actually that makes the ocean alive. Like, that is scary.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That is scary. And then of course Five-O gets washed away overboard, and the ship sails away into the storm.
Yes, and then Five-O's dad says this: "Five-O, Five-O."
Yep. And then of course the following scene is a castle is Castle Gardens, the immigration depot in New York City. As both humans and mice go through immigration, they are given new American names. When the Moskowitz family passes through, they are sad that they are now a family of 4, not 5. The immigration officials change Tanya's name to Tilly. And then next we see a small bottle flowing on the water as the chorus sings, "Give me your tired, you're poor." The words, that was actually from the chorus. That's the chorus singing, from James Horner.
I'll be honest, that was very good.
The words written on the Statue of Liberty, the audience sees Five-O inside the bottle. As he peers through the bottle, he sees the statue is under construction. When the bottle washes ashore, a French pigeon named Henry, voiced by Christopher Plummer, who claims to be building the statue, discovers him. After Henry cleans up the little immigrant, Five-O talks despondently about the possibility that he will never find his family. Henry, in a Maurice Chevalier type voice, boosts the boy's confidence by singing "Never Say Never." Never say never.
Nope.
Hey, look at that. Hey, look at that. A pigeon saying "Never say never" better than Justin Bieber.
Yep.
And this is actually before Justin Bieber, by the way.
Also, we didn't even know that was Christopher Plummer in this movie.
I didn't know that was Christopher Plummer. Hey, that's good. Well, that's good because you want to hear the character's voice, not the actor. You're here for to hear the character, right?
Actually, but our introduction to Christopher Plummer was in Disney Pixar's Up,
where he played Charles Bunce.
Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, he has a good voice.
Yep. Even Fievel and three female pigeons joined in on a song.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Henry instructs one of the females to fly Fievel to immigration. The next scene is the city, which is full of immigrants, humans, and mice, and they are all being hustled by con artists. One of the slickest of the scoundrels, or rodents, if I want to say that, preying on the unsuspecting newcomers is Warranteen Rat, voiced by John Finnegan, and of course his constant companion is his cockroach accountant Digit, voiced by Will Ryan, who gets stressed out a lot and he gets electrocuted by his own antennas.
Yeah, but Warren T. Rat, I mean, I'll be honest, he's obviously one of those villains in this movie. He's obviously the main villain in this movie.
Exactly, he's obviously the main villain in this movie.
Yeah, he's a small Havenham Brown who disguises himself as a giant rat. He's the leader of the Mott Street's Maulers and an all-cat gang which terrorizes the mice of New York City. Mm-hmm. Conniving and a schemer, he misleads an impressionable Fievel at one point. Later on, he gets his comeuppance when Fievel discovers and later exposes him as a cat to the mouse community. He is accompanied everywhere by his accountant Digit, a small English accent cockroach.
Yep. So anyway, upset that he has made 50 cents less today than yesterday, Warren T spies the innocent Fievel, introduces himself, and claims he could take the boy to his parents. He's like, well, hey there, hey there, how you doing? Well, Rat's the name, Warren T Rat. Yeah. What can I do for you, kid?
Yeah, I'm here to look for my family.
Yeah, that's what Fievel says. He's trying to find his family. So, Warren T and Fievel and to start to bond together, but apparently, the two walk away. Interesting enough, their walking movement almost looks like Honest John's walking movement. Hi diddly dee.
Yes, and he also mentions about Shakespeare as well.
Right, because I think it also hints that he used to be an actor, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and was also interesting too. Whenever he smokes, he actually made dollar signs from that smoke.
Yes, and twice. And also to note, there's also a hat that looks exactly like his dad's.
Oh, really?
Well, but bigger.
Yeah, but bigger.
But it has a hole in it too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So anyway,
but I don't trust this rat.
Nope.
Or is he?
But that's no rat.
But we will get to his reveal later on in this movie.
Right, so meanwhile, at the Moskowitz' new home, an old discarded physician's bag, Tanya tells her parents that she has a feeling that her brother is still alive. And just as she looks out a window, Fievel and Warranty pass unseen nearby. And when Warranty takes Fievel into a building and opens a door, Fievel excitedly looks inside for his family. He is grabbed by a mean character named Bo, voiced by Hal Smith, who's probably a big rat.
And he's holding a cigar as well.
And you know what? That was very unexpected because that's very unexpected because all we see when when Warren T opens the door, you see the hand, and the hand grabs Fievel and is revealed to be a big rat.
Yeah, and he says, "Not bad, how Mo?" but Fievel says, "What about my family?" Warren T says, "You don't need a family. You need a job. Just sell me a salary, will you?"
Yep, and then of course Bo was like, "Hey, you, what are you doing?" And that's for the rest of you, get back to work.
No, what are you looking at? Back to work, and they're right by the humans.
Right.
With a little attention to detail, they're right by the humans.
They're actually in what appears to be a workhouse or a sweatshop.
I mean, that is so shocking that they are right by the humans.
Yeah, workhouse, sweatshop, a kid's movie, huh?
Yeah.
This ain't kids. I mean, you call. I mean, yeah,
You call that a kids movie?
you call that a kids movie when you have giant water monsters and of course a Russian attack and the film's opening and then we get 50 working in a sweatshop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. I mean, wow.
This movie's rated G, right?
It is rated G.
Wow, this movie would have been PG today.
It. Yeah, I would imagine a PG rating.
I mean, if that was the case, you know.
Yep.
So anyway, 50 is tricked. He's in this workhouse or sweatshop, whatever. So Warren reminds Bo to send 50's salary to him. And that evening, 50 ties several sheets together and escapes by climbing down the sheets to the street. And then, of course, he meets up with another mouse named Tony Toponi. Tony Toponi, voiced by Pat Busick, an Italian immigrant mouse, gives 50 an Americanized name, Philly. Hey there, kid. You know what? I'm gonna call you Philly. I guess Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Once he is out of the workhouse, 50 unknowingly walks right past his family's home in the doctor's bag. And this was also like several times. There are a few times in this movie where this movie could have been over at any minute, but this is. Plot wise, plot wise, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to, have 50 find his family, and of course, like, there are a couple times where 50 passes his family.
Yeah, I mean,
in that one moment, there is a scene in this movie where 50's dad and his sister Tanya, they were going under this bridge, but what they don't notice is that 50 and Tony were walking across the bridge.
Yeah, can they look up?
No, they don't even look up. They want to keep the plot going.
Yeah.
So anyway, as far as 50 wanders the lonely streets, we hear poor wandering one. Once the boy hears someone calling his name, but it's another mother calling her son 50. And then of course there's also a moment too where he sees a school of mouse and they're actually saying the Pledge of Allegiance,
Yes, and of course, 50 sees a cheese that the other 50 accidentally dropped. While 50 was about to eat the cheese, there was a rat that pops out of nowhere.
And then was like, that's mine.
Back, mine. That's my cheese.
I guess that's his cheese. The scene 50 sees all the other mice are saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Well, there's an interesting trivia behind that, and I think that was actually from Spielberg's experience. So the scene in which 50 presses up against a window to look into a classroom filled with American school mice is based on a story Spielberg remembered about his grandfather, who told him that Jews were only able to listen to school lessons through open windows while sitting outside in the snow.
Really?
Yeah, that's actually something that Spielberg got from his grandfather. So that whole scene right there, that scene where 50 looks through the school classroom window with the school mice saying the Pledge of Allegiance, yeah, that's something that actually happened. That's actually something that actually happened with Spielberg's grandfather.
That's basically during his younger life.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a true thing, and that's actually an interesting thing right there. Yeah.
And also, Jerry Goldsmith was originally going to compose the American Tail movie.
Actually, that's true, but he was busy with other work, which also explains James Horner being brought on board. And actually, speaking of Spielberg's grandfather, going back to Spielberg's grandfather, his grandfather's name was 50.
50?
Yeah, that was actually Spielberg's name. That was actually the name of Steven Spielberg's grandfather.
Oh my goodness,
that's actually good. That's a nice little connection. Right? So yeah, nice little detail right there.
And to put it in a young to play the younger mouse, 50 after the name of his grandfather.
Yeah,
that is amazing right there.
Yeah. So anyway, later on, 50 hears someone playing a violin and thinks it's his papa. But no, he's disappointed to learn that the sound is coming from an Edison cylinder. Thomas Edison cylinder.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison cylinder recording. And then there's a lady of the house changes the cylinder to Stars and Stripes Forever by John Philip Sousa's, and it blasts the music blasts from the speaker, which causes Fievel to fall into the player.
And all
And the sight of the mouse frightens the lady, who chases Fievel out of a window. And soon after, Fievel runs into Tony Toponi again, who volunteers to help find the kid's family. Hey, look, it's Billy. Hey, let's go. Let's continue on this adventure so we can find your family.
Yeah, and Fievel gives Tony a hug.
It's like, hey, what are you doing? Are you engaged or are you engaged or something? What is this, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Also, Fievel was able to escape the house after being after getting frightened by the ladies.
Yeah.
And all the people were like, "Hey, what's going on there?
Yep.
Oh, hey, what's happening? There's a mouse."
Yeah, there's a mouse. and yeah, actually now of course it's Tony and Fievel, and they actually walk across that bridge. That was the scene I was mentioned, right? Where they walk over Fievel's dad and his sister, right?
Well, it is a total surprise.
Total surprise, all right. And then of course, during their search, Tony and Fievel happen to pass a rally where a pretty Irish mouse named Bridget, being voiced by Kathy Ann Bloor, is trying to convince the other mice to organize in order to defeat the cats.
Yes.
And Tony is immediately smitten with Bridget.
Oh boy.
And while Tony gets acquainted with Bridget, Fievel tells the crowd that they have nothing to fear because his papa told him there weren't any cats in America. Just then, from behind a crate, a cat pounces on Fievel and almost eats him. Like, yeah, we get to see Fievel getting eaten, barely eaten by the cats. Like, he was apples, right? Like, he eats the apples with the mouse, and Fievel uses the apples as a staircase to like climb back up to get out of the cat's mouth.
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
You want to tell me? Yeah, you want to tell me there are cats in America while being dark? Yeah, you want to tell me there are no cats in America? Yeah, we got one cat. We got one cat with an army of cats.
Yeah, he was eating apples. So yeah, how you like them apples?
Mm-hmm.
But they also did they actually used the same scene from the opening.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, they recycled the cat. This cat attack was actually recycled from the opening.
Yeah.
Except the only difference is now it's in America.
Mm-hmm. Also, this scene where Tony and Bridget kiss each other, that was accidentally.
Yeah, that was accidental. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, the market is in ruins from the cat attack, and then of course Fievel's mom sarcastically asks her husband, "There are no what's in America?" And then he was like, So when
cats,
what
cats?
Yep.
Oh man, that is total karma right there for Papa.
Yep.
So, even Tanya was smiling and full of excitement too.
Yep. So when the new trio of friends arrives at Honest John's, Gussie Moshimer, Honest John, they were not hiding this. No, they were not. Bluth was not hiding this. He's referencing Disney. Yeah, voiced by Honest John's Gussie Moshimer, voiced by Madeline Kahn, the richest mouse in the city, is also there to complain about the cat attack. She recommends a Wally Gussie can't pronounce R's of all the mice, rich and poor, to decide a course of action against the cats. When Gussie leaves, Honest John is ready to help Fievel find his family until he discovers that the Mouskowitz are too new in the country to be registered voters.
Registered voters?
Yeah, because they're new, right? They're new to the country, so
it's new. This is new for the Mousekewitz.
Right. And he is only interested in helping if votes are his reward. And that night, Fievel sleeps in a water tower where Bridget lives. She encourages the boy and tells him that she is certain his family is out there, somewhere just waiting to be found. And after Bridget leaves, Fievel gets out of bed, goes to a knot hole in the wall, and of course, looks out over the city, and as the moon rises, sings "Somewhere Out There." And Tanya joins in on the song too, and they dream of reuniting their family at the rally in the park, and they dream of reuniting their family. They dream of reuniting their family, because they're both separated.
Yes, and this is obviously a good song.
This is absolutely the best song, and in hindsight, this is the best song to come out of this movie.
And this was played twice.
They actually play this twice in this movie and during the credits. Where in the credits, it was sung by James Ingram and Linda Ronstadt.
And that song was nominated for an Oscar.
It was nominated for an Oscar, and it actually became a major hit, peaking at number 2 in the Billboard Hot 100, winning a Grammy Award, and became one of the most popular songs from an animated feature film since the 1950s.
Now that's amazing right there. Even though it also got a Golden Globe nomination as well.
Right, but like I mentioned, it lost to "Take My Breath Away" from Top Gun.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful song. Linda Ronstadt. I said Ronstadt, but it's Linda Ronstadt. There we go. Yeah, Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram played sung this song in the credits.
Yep.
And while it would have been interesting if it won the Oscar, but let's be honest, I feel like Top Gun had more acts, but Top Gun had Top Gun
really took American Tail's breath away.
Yep. I mean, I guess. Well, let's hope the mice are not flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog crap out of Hong Kong.
You will be flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog crap out of Hong Kong.
Let's hope they're not doing. Well, I hope they're not doing that.
Nope.
Oh wait, Oh wait, yeah. Oh, well. Speaking of Hong Kong, that actually comes up later in this movie.
Yep.
Yep. So anyway, at the rally in the park, Fievel is on the speaker stand with Bridget and Tony while his family is in the audience. But once again, they don't see each other. Like literally, just turn around.
Turn around.
Turn around, for crying out loud! Like you guys, you guys could have ended. You guys could have been reunited and stopped the cats.
Yeah.
Yep. But whatever, just keep the plot going, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Gussie delivers. So anyway, Gussie delivers a stirring speech about coming to America for freedom from cats. When she asks for ideas concerning of course of action, no one offers any suggestions until Fievel steps forward and whispers an idea into her ear. She smiles, whispers the idea to Honest John, and I'm just gonna say this. Hi, diddly dee.
Also, Honest John, the mouse, is actually drunk as well.
Yeah, a drunk mouse, huh?
Yep, and of course, Gussie also says, "You guys want what do we want?" And also, the mice says, "Freedom."
So, she smiles, whispers the idea to Honest John, and then announces to the crowd that they have a plan. Early the following day, all the mice go to Dr. Digitalist's Museum of the Weird and Bizarre, which is located on a pier. They collect various objects from the museum and begin to build a large contraption. Tony wakes up late, so he grabs Fievel out of his bathtub bed, and they run towards the pier to help the other mice. Fievel has trouble keeping up, trips, and falls into a sewer grate.
Also, he's trying to put his pants on.
Yep.
And that's also the scene that was also recycled when the cats were chasing Fievel.
Yes. When he thinks he hears his papa playing his violin, Fievel drops down into the sewer and follows the music.
He says, "I'm coming, Papa!"
He finally discovers the source of music in a place marked Mott Street, maulers. The music is coming from a piano player and a violinist, and inside a group of cats are playing poker.
Well, it's not gamble. It's not gambling.
Well, there are no dogs. You heard of dogs playing poker, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got cats playing poker, and one of the cats is Tiger, voiced by Don DeLuise, a large orange cat who is pretty dim-witted.
And one of the cats says, "Hey, Tiger, we're not playing gambling. We're doing poker. We're playing a game of poker."
Oh, okay. So when the camera pans up to the music, the violin player is Warranty Rat. Warranty complains he can't. Warranty Rat complains he can't play because of his nose, so he removes his false nose and ears, which reveals that he really is a cat.
Uh-oh.
And Five-O blurts out, "Wait," and Five-O says, "You're not a rat, you're a cat."
Yeah, you're not a rat. You're a cat.
And then Warren's like, How'd you get in here?
He sees it through the mirror.
Yeah, he sees it all through the mirror, and Warren's like, "Come here, you."
Come here.
And then Five-O screams, and he bites Warren on the hand, and I'm not kidding. Warren howls like a dog
Yeah.
instead of like meowing, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I guess that's kind of funny, I guess he's got an inner dog. I guess he's got an inner hound or something.
Yeah, but
And then, yeah, Warren's like, "Ow!"
and
then, of course, Warren's like, "Gentlemen, cat's out of the bag."
And then the mirror breaks, and he says, "Get me that mouse."
So anyway, Tiger tries to help, but is more trouble than help. And he's like, "Let me at him! Let me at him! Let me at him!"
I'll kill him. Get out of my way. Ow! You step on my tail.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, and they're also on the piano too. Five was running on the piano too while playing piano noises.
Right. That's probably James. That's probably James Horner whenever he's messing up his score.
Yep.
I can see James Horner doing that whenever he messes up his score.
Yep.
And it was like, "Oh, wait a minute, and then Don Bluth, I can't imagine that. Don Bluth just walks into James Horner's office, messing up the score, and he was like, "Wait a minute. I want that. Can I have that in my movie? I got a good scene. I got a good scene for that." And James Horner's like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh, well, probably better than James Cameron's Aliens.
You know what? I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I can't imagine that. But I can imagine that. So anyway, the chase is going on, but apparently Five escapes again. But Paul grabs him, pulls him back into the sewer. Like he could have just gone. He stands at the sewer gate for like a few seconds, and about to walk, and then Paul grabs him.
Yeah, he got his hat, but fortunately, he could have run away.
Yeah, he could have run away.
Then the sewer lid closes.
Yep, sewer lid closes. So anyway, back in the museum, Gussie explains the plan to the other mice. They are going to scare the cats onto a ship that is bound for Hong Kong with the contraption that they have built. Yep, I wasn't kidding about Hong Kong. Hong Kong is brought up again.
Yep.
Since the ship departs at 6 a.m., the mice must lure the cats to the pier at the precise time.
And of course, they show how this is going to work out, how the weapon's going to work out. The cats come in at 6 a.m. and we're all there at the museum. And then at 6 a.m., they release the secret weapon.
Yep. Yep.
And then by the time, and after that, all the mice says, "Nah, nah, 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 nah."
So anyway, Five-O is being held prisoner, and Five-O is being held prisoner in a birdcage in the sewer and is being guarded by Tiger. I mean, Tiger is pretty dim-witted that he finds out that Five-O lost his family. Tiger is so dim-witted he stands guard.
He says, "I'm your guard. I'm your guard.
I'm your guard now."
Mm-hmm.
When Tiger finds out, just be glad he's not with the. Just be glad that the Punisher is not the prisoner.
Nope.
Because I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. In the Daredevil Born Again season 1 finale. Punisher was one of Kingpin's prisoners during the end credit scenes, and I'm just going to go out there and say that Kingpin just hired one of his dumbest guards. And this guard has a good conversation with the Punisher, and the Punisher breaks the dude's hand just so he can get out.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if that scene. I don't know if Marvel saw American Tail, saw the scene of Tiger being on guard with Fievel, and just took that inspiration. And like, hey, you know what? We're gonna do something like that, but we're gonna do it with the Punisher and this one guard. Okay?
Yeah. And then Punisher breaks the guard's hand and says, "You know what? I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm
Yeah.
not living in this prison cell."
Yep. But anyway, but at least this is a G-rated version right here.
Yep.
So when Tiger finds out that Fievel lost his family, he emphasizes because he lost his family too. And of course, we also learn that Tiger is a vegetarian cat.
And he also likes, get this, broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah.
And Fievel was crying too. Don't forget, Fievel was crying
That's
too.
right, yeah. And once Fievel and Tiger become friends, they perform a song and dance routine together titled A Duo. A duo, a duo. So that's the musical number that was going on.
Yep.
And then Digit, the cockroach, sees the prisoner and his guard frolicking together and tells his boss.
And Tiger was like, "What's that noise? Oh, that's not good."
And then Fievel manages to escape, so Warranty fires Tiger. Even Warranty was like, how did he get out? How the hell did this mouse get out? And Tiger was like, he overpowered. I'm sorry, sir, he overpowered me. And he was like, screw you, Tiger. You're fired. Get your ass out of here.
Good. I'm glad. I never liked you. And besides, your music sucks.
So anyway, back on the street, Fievel heads to the pier with the cats right behind, and inside the museum, the mice are sleeping, but Fievel's frantic screams wakes them up. The cats are 10 minutes early, but since the cats are there, the mice in charge of the secret weapon release it. And one of them was using a kazoo to get the secret weapon. And also, here's another thing they're not hiding. One of them is dressed up like Timothy Mouse.
Yeah.
They're not hiding. Don Bluth is not hiding this. He's referencing Disney.
Yes, and he says, the cats are here! Release the secret weapon!
And since it is too early, Honest John and some of the other mice finally stop it in front of the museum. Tony shoots Warren's fake nose off, exposing him as a cat.
Just forget about the nose. What's in a nose? How do you know about this nose? But so Tony used the slingshot and then it kind of hits the ears.
Yep, that's a no question.
Yep.
Then of course, it's revealed that Warranty rat is Warranty cat.
Yep. Oh my God! He's a cat. He's a cat.
Yep.
Even the mice sees it. That Warranty rat is Warranty cat.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I can explain. But even Gussie was like, "Hey, we ain't taking orders for you no more.
We are through with you.
Yep.
Washed up."
Yep. You know what? That probably explains it.
Yep.
So then Warren decides to set the place on fire. He's like, adios.
Adios, mices.
Yep.
Then all the mice says, fire!
Yep. In front of the museum. Yep. So anyway, Gussie, who is watching the clock, commands the secret weapon to be released.
Even though the weapon was stopped because it was coming in close to the door, but Honest John says, "You're wrecking the plan. It's not supposed to be that way." Before it hits the door, but fortunately it stopped. But until then, when the boat whistle started to go off, Gussie says, "Release the secret weapon!"
Fievel, and then of course, Five grabs a piece of a burning wood and burns the rope that is restraining the weapon.
Well, before that, all the mice were struggling to release it,
Right.
even though it stopped. Honest John said it too. Release the secret weapon!
Yeah, and when it finally begins to move after after Five burns the rope, Five gets knocked out on this metal rod.
Ouch.
Ouch. And out of the burning building, the contraption, like like you hear a roar, right?
And an explosion too.
And an explosion too, which turns out to be the giant mouse of Minsk from the story that Fievel's dad had told him. And even the cats all see this giant mouse, and they're like, "It's the giant mouse of Minsk!"
Oh yeah, you're right. Even Warren T. Cat was freaked out too, including the other cats, and they all run away like a bunch of pussy cats.
I don't know what's scary. I don't know what's scary. The design. I don't know what's scary. The design or the cell animation.
I'm pretty sure they use CGI.
I think so too. But even then, that's still a scary. It's a scary and epic scene. Come to think of it, because this is their final showdown.
At least Indiana Jones didn't build that in
Nope.
a museum.
Well, it belongs in a museum.
Yeah, but hey, that belongs in a museum.
Are you kidding me? They made that out of a box of scraps.
And also, they used fireworks too to scare the cats away.
Right, they scared the cats away. All the cats were running to the pier, and so frightened, they jump into the water while Warranty gets run over by the giant mouse of Minsk, and the giant mouse of Minsk and Warranty go overboard.
Yes, and they all landed into the water.
Yes, and then of course, the mouse saying there are no cats in America. And apparently, all the cats, including the cockroach, they are basically on an anchor.
Yes.
On that boat going to Hong Kong, and they were like,
yes,
and
he was like, someday, Guzzy Mouseheimer, someday, and you too, Mouskowitz, all of you, I hate mice.
Oh, I'm having a heart attack here.
Even the cockroaches was trying to count out coins or something,
right?
Since they're going to Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, there is at least a silver lining. They're going to Hong Kong, so there's definitely mice over there. Yeah, and was also interesting too. The cockroach decides to count the coins in Chinese.
Yes,
and then obviously Warranty Rat's like, "Hey, how do you speak? What was it?
How do you speak? Trust me in Chinese."
That was his last line, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Well, they are riding on a boat. Well, they're on a boat. They're on a boat. They're on a boat to Hong Kong. Just be glad that boat doesn't have rubber dog crap.
Nope.
Oh man, this movie came out the same year as Top Gun, right?
And then we also get to one of the darkest scenes. Is basically everything was on fire. All the mice sees everything. Everything is being burnt to the ground.
Burnt to the ground.
And also, there's also leaking kerosene.
Kerosene causes the fire to spread, and the pier is consumed in flames. Bridget and Tony look for Philly or Fievel, but all they find is his hat.
Yes, and of course, Fievel's parents sees Tony and Bridget.
Yes,
and they told him to wait, stop. You know Fievel Mouskowitz? And he says his name is Philly.
Yep. So Bridget and Tony look for Philly, but all they find is his hat. Tanya hears them calling Philly and reminds her father that immigration changed her name to Tilly. She runs towards the calls. Papa and Mama follow. When they meet Tony, Mama recognizes Fievel's hat.
Oh my goodness.
And then, while that's also going on, Tiger even sees the family as well.
Yes.
Which is something that they also cut too. Tiger never introduced himself.
Yeah, I mean, really, guys?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tiger would have been like, "Hey, I could be some assistance. Look, listen. Listen, look, you may think I might be on that ship now, but no, I didn't like I didn't like warranty. But listen, I can also help.
I can help you guys. I can help find 50 Mouskowitz.
Yep. So
And also, all the mice almost got burnt. Caesar Carrots, all the Mouskowitz almost got burnt by the fire too.
right.
Because because Tanya hears the voice, and they started to leave, and then the fire came because there's some kerosene in it.
Right, that burned the place down.
Yes.
So anyway, fire was provided by the firemen's water hoses. The force of the water washes him through a hole in the floor. He ends up in Orphan's Alley, where he meets a group of street urchins who convince him to give up hope of ever finding his family.
And that's sad too.
That's sad too, because we're at the point where Fievel gives up.
Yes, and the other mice was like, they should. Oh yeah, they should be Your family should be looking for you. They don't care.
That really sucks, man.
Yes, and Fivo Mouskowitz says this. You're right. They don't care if they don't care if they find me or not.
That's sad.
And one of the mice says, "Here, make yourself a bed with hay."
Yep.
And then to the point, Fivo says, "I'll never find my family. Never.
Yep.
Never. This is my new home now."
Mm-hmm.
And you see all the other mices in the orphanage too.
Yep.
I mean, he's not alone. There's other mices there. And what really adds into this scene is the musical score from James Horner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his score really adds in the emotional tone to it. That Fievel is now alone.
Yep.
Giving up to finding his family. And then it was raining too. And then there's also another scene. There's also a scene where you see birds coming in.
Yep.
And looking, I mean, they were in this bird bath. This one bird refuses to go into this bird bath.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear the flute playing too.
Yeah.
And I find it sad too, because even though Fievel is lost, and I feel like I almost got a tear jerk into it.
Man, yeah.
And now after that, Fievel is asleep, still sad that he lost his that he still lost his family, up until he hears a voice.
Yep, so that's the next morning where Fievel awakes. He hears someone calling his name, but he thinks it's just a dream. Gussie, Tony, Bridget, and his family are riding on Tiger searching for him. Fievel finally pays attention when he hears his father playing his violin, and when he shouts "Papa," his father hears him, jumps off a Tiger, and runs towards the sun for a happy reunion.
Yes, and he says, "Fievel, are you here?" And then he hears the voice. Fievel says, "Papa? Papa, where are you? Papa?" And then Papa says, "Fievel," after he stopped playing the violin.
Yep.
"Wait! Stop! Fievel! I'm coming, Papa!" And then
they both reunited.
They finally found each other. And James Horner's score James Horner's score comes in.
Yep.
And it was a happy moment right there.
And the others soon joined the celebration.
And I wouldn't imagine the theater reaction.
I can't imagine that either. I mean, but anyway, now Fievel is a mouse.
Yes, and also Gussie hugs Tiger. Well, yeah. Tiger's foot. And she was like, "I'm hugging a cat." And Tiger says, "I've never been so happy in my entire life. I make friends, lots and lots of friends."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and the following scene shows Henry flying Fievel and Tanya to see his finished statue.
The Statue of Liberty is finished.
And then, of course, his parents are flown by another pigeon, and Tiger is transported by multiple pigeons.
I'd say this should the Cats film would have been done by animation.
Yeah, that explains it. So anyway, they all admire the Statue of Liberty. The statue even winks at Fievel and Tanya. Fievel asks Henry about all the other land they see from the air. He tells the boy that all of it is America. Fievel wants to see it. Henry assures him that he will someday.
My little American.
Mm-hmm.
As Henry flies them away from the statue, Fievel and Tanya said, "Goodbye."
And, they got a sequel.
Yes.
Which is basically titled An American Tale, Fievel Goes West. But that's a different episode for another time.
Yep.
And then, of course, we got the credits rolling, and then we got Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram singing "Somewhere Out There."
Yep.
And that's the movie. And there, so yeah, that's the movie.
Yep.
You know what? For Don Bluth movie, this is really good.
This was his second animated film to direct.
Yeah, animated feature film to direct.
Yeah,
This was good.
This was good. He did a fantastic job directing this movie, despite the troubled production that this movie had.
Yeah. And I say it's nice that they brought Steven Spielberg on board.
Yep. I mean, like I said, we didn't even know that Steven Spielberg was involved with this movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. And while I will say some of the writing, like especially when 50 on multiple occasions like leaves, just like doesn't like when 50 business is failing, especially like when they almost crossed over, I'm just like, turn around.
Yeah, turn around.
I'm like, are you kidding me? But they did that just to keep the plot going, right?
Yeah, they literally did that.
And then obviously the names, give me the names of the parents. I'm just like, come on, just give them names, all right?
Come on, come up with names, guys. If you're gonna write a movie and adding in characters, come up with names.
I'm just saying. But I will say, I mean, and of course, yes, you could definitely argue that the tone is all over the place. But and you know what? And of course, yes, it was edited this way because this is because obviously they wanted to make this more of a family film than a dark film.
Yeah, but so yes, a lot of people, and of course, I can understand where a lot of people were coming from when the movie was released because a lot of people say it was like not only dark but also too depressing for younger audiences.
Well, I guess they want to try to keep this more, there is definitely an emotional side to this movie, which is obviously true, but I didn't really find this movie to be that depressing. I mean, there are sad scenes, but it wasn't really that depressing.
Also, Roger Halbert, reviewing for the Sun Sentinel, also praised the character of Fievel. You'll discover in Gentle Fievel an endearing character that manages to be lovable without undue sentiment. His eyes may tear up once in a while, and his lower lip quiver, but mostly he's ready to face the situation. Still, the superb animation makes you believe Fievel is a small boy lost in a big world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And Halbert's later summarized, laced with action scenes and peppered with amusing dialogue, the film moves along briskly. Little ones won't be bored. Original songs, including Never Say Never, Somewhere Out There, and We Are a Duo, are also entertaining. You'll marvel over the quality of Plummer's singing voice and be convulsed by Deluise's feline antics.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, there is a positive sign right there.
Imagine the same thing with a Disney movie, right?
Yeah, but I actually love the voice cast in this movie.
I mean, like some of these actors are very well. They're unknown, but I mean, some of these actors are unknown. But at the same time, I'm actually impressed with this.
But I think that some of the voice actors that we know of is Christopher Plummer and Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, I think those are the only two that I at least know of. James Horner, I know because he's done other music before.
Yes.
And then Don Bluth. I mean, obviously Don Bluth because he got his start with Disney.
Yes, but James Horner, on the other hand, he did a fantastic job composing this movie, and he really deserved that Oscar nomination for Best Original Song somewhere out there.
Yeah,
But don't worry, he will go on to win 2 Oscars for Titanic.
that's right.
And of course, oh my goodness, Spielberg. Is there anything else we need to say about Steven Spielberg?
You know, for his first animated film, he did pretty well with it.
Mm-hmm. Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall loved their collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, also David Kirshner did a good job with the story. The same could be said with Gary Goldman and John Palmery for producing this movie as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, the story is good, the animation's good, the voice acting and music is really good too.
Mm-hmm. And it became a box office success, grossing over $85 million. $85 million. And here's something else. It was one of the first animated films to outdraw a Disney one, beating out The Great Mouse Detective.
That's a risky move, but you know what? They did it.
Yes, another traditionally animated film involving mice that was released in 1986, but 4 months earlier, by over US $22 million. But the Great Mouse Detective was more successful with critics, most notably Janice Sisco and Roger Ebert. It would later be outgrossed by Bluth's next film, The Land Before Time, although Oliver and Company would make more at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Don Bluth will go on to direct another animated movie called The Land Before Time with
That's
Steven
right.
Spielberg,
That's right, yeah.
which turns out to be a short film,
Mm-hmm.
alongside George Lucas.
Yep.
Yep, and to be fair, yes, there are sequels. That after the box office success on American Tail, it spawned a franchise, including a theatrical sequel, which is American Tail 5 Goes West, a television series, which is called Five O's American Tales, and 2 sequels released on home video.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though the sequel that was released in 1991 was okay, it didn't hold a candle to what the original had.
Right.
And the same could be said with 2 sequels, which is An American Tale: The Mystery of the Night Monster, and of course the American Tale: The Treasure of Manhattan Island.
Mm-hmm.
Now those two films that came straight to DVD also don't hold a candle to what the original had.
Right. Well, let's be honest, the original film's a classic.
Mm-hmm. It is a classic film, and it's obviously a film that you can actually go back and watch,
Yeah.
especially after seeing it in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, years later, we still remember this movie.
Yeah, we still remember this movie, and I think people should check this movie out too. I mean, it's a film. I mean, it's a obviously, this is a non-Disney movie that outdid Disney at the time,
Yep.
and it's got. I mean, look. I mean, yeah, some parts of the writing you can overlook, but the story itself is actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting enough, the main message in this film, American Tail, is about resilience, the power of hope, and the immigrant experience. And of course, family connection, exploring themes of family connection, the myth versus reality of America, and unity and activism.
Yes, and this movie, An American Tale, that came out in 1986, is cinema.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, animation is cinema. You know what? And Guillermo del Toro said it best.
That's right.
I mean, for people saying that it's a kids movie, well, I'll just let Guillermo del Toro say it for you. Animation is cinema.
Yep.
Well, but I guess Hollywood doesn't quite understand that yet. But I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
But this is a cinematic experience.
And this movie is 40 years old this year.
For a film that is, I mean, this movie holds up to this day. This movie holds up to this day, and this movie, after 40 years, holds up to this day.
Uh-huh. And of course, after American Tail and Land Before Time, he would do other animated movies, including Anastasia that came out in 1998.
That's right, yeah.
And of course, the sci fi animated movie Titan AE,
Yep.
to which that movie bombed at the box office.
Yes, that movie was bombed at the box office, yeah.
Which literally ended Don Bluth's career as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this movie. But overall, I say this movie is still good overall. Would you say? Would you agree, Mike?
I would totally agree. This movie is very good.
Yep.
Especially in the world of history as well.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, there you have it, folks. That is our take on An American Tail. What did you guys think of An American Tail? Did you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you think this movie's okay? Do you think this movie holds up 40 years later? I would love to hear your thoughts.
It holds up so well, and I believe this movie deserves a lot more attention.
I agree.
It deserves more attention, and I say you guys should check this movie out.
Yep. So anyway, with that being said, that'll be a wrap for this episode. Thank you all for tuning into Codo Cinema. I'm your host, Mark Codo, aka Codoman.
I'm Mike Codo.
Remember to watch movies and stay positive.